Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai, Kahalayim La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakahak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the I can teach them about the Mayan Wa'amat as in sincerity and truth. It's the brother Yachazak from GMS Dallas. I just want to add another installment to Thy Kingdom Come, Thy Will Be Done. No matter what, you know. We've been going through the scriptures and coming up with accounts where the Lord sets plans in motion for his will to play out. You know, we've established that there's counsels in the heavens when you go into the situation with Job and the Lord placing the bet with Satan, right? You also have the account where the angel volunteered to be a lion spirit in the mouth of the prophets in order to his will, in order for his will to play out. All right, so we want to thy kingdom come, thy will be done. This is Matthew chapter 6 and 10. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Right. So we're gonna look up a couple words, right? Kingdom. Let's look up kingdom. All right. All right, kingdom, royal power, kingship, dominion, rule, right? This is the Lord's kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Perfection in the heavens, perfection on the earth. The Lord sets the plans in motion for in the spirit world, in the spirit realm, and then it dictates what happens on the earth, right? It says not to be confused with an actual kingdom, but rather the right or authority to rule over a kingdom, right? It says the royal power of Yahweh Shai as the triumphant Messiah. It says of royal power and dignity conferred on Christians, the elect, in the Messiah's kingdom, right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Perfection in the heavens, perfection on the earth, right? It says a kingdom, the territory subject to the rule of a king, used in the New Testament to refer to the reign of the Messiah, right? Thy kingdom come, thy kingdom will come, right? Because that's the will of the Heavenly Father. Thy kingdom come, all right? Let's get calm, all right? All right, to come of persons, to come from one place to another, and use both of the persons arriving and those returning, to appear, one's appearance, make one's appearance, right? The kingdom is gonna make an appearance, right? New Jerusalem coming down out of those chariots, and that gives you a sort of an idea. You know what I'm saying? More goes into that, but I'm just throwing that out as an example, right? Metaphor, it says to come into being, right? Arise, come forth, show itself, right? The kingdom is going to do all these things, right? Find place or influence, be established, become known, right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, right? And the Heavenly Father has situations to where the example for today is going to be Joseph being sent into Egypt, being sold into slavery by his brothers. You know what I'm saying? That action was set forth for the Lord's will to play out about the promise that he made to Abraham, whose people were going to end up in a strange land, you see? And Lord willing, this will be edifying as we get into it, all right, to follow one. All right, so we got thy kingdom come, thy will, right? Let's look up this word will. It says what one wishes or has determined shall be done, right? Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, right? That's the Lord's will for perfection in the heavens, perfection on the earth, right? Like the Apostle Elder Gabor says, the repetition is the father of skill. So that's why I keep saying what I'm saying, right? It says the purpose of the purpose of the Most High to bless mankind through Hamashiach. That's his will, right? To utilize his son to redeem them back to us, right? So that marriage between the bridegroom, which is Yahweh Shai, and the bride being the nation of Israel, right? That's the Heavenly Father's will. It's for a perfect union, all right, of what the Most High wishes to be done by us. You know what I'm saying? It's our duty, it's our service as men to follow the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Which make us perfect, right? Commandments, precepts, will, choice, inclination, desire, pleasure, right? It's the Lord's pleasure. He desires for us to be perfect, right? It's his will to give us the kingdom, right? All right. In earth, right? I'm going to look up the word earth, right? It says arable land, the ground, the earth as standing place, the main land as opposed to the sea or water, the earth as a whole, right? The earth as a whole. The Lord wants the entire earth to be perfect as it is in heaven, right? The earth as opposed to the heavens. Perfection in the heavens, perfection on the earth. The inhabited earth, the abode of men and animals, right? He wants that to be perfect. It says a country, land enclosed within fixed boundaries, a tract of land, territory, region, right? So the earth that was given to us, the earth that was created for our sakes, he wants it to be perfect the way it's perfect in the heavens. Okay? Now, check this out. Let me see. Let's go to Job 33, right? All right. This is Job 33 and 12. Behold, in this thou art not just, I will answer thee, that God is greater than man, right? His thoughts are above our thoughts. His ways are above our ways. We need to catch up with perfection, right? It says, why dost thou strive against him? For he giveth not account of any of his matters. For the Most High speaketh once, yea twice, yet man perceiveth not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in the slumberings of their bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instructions, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. He keepeth back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. All right. It says he is chastised also with the pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain, so that his life abhorreth bread and his soul dainty meat. Right. So the Lord sets us up. He seals our instructions so that we know how to move going forward. Right. So now that we know that the Lord will put the thought in your mind while you're asleep, let's get Genesis 15 and 12. Yeah, Genesis 15 and 12. And when the sun was going down, deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. This is a prophecy, right? And this is the dream. This is the promise that the Lord put in Abraham's head while he was asleep. This is what's going to happen to your seed in the future, right? So the Lord is going to set up events for this prophecy to play out, okay? And it says, and he said to Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years, right? Going into the time when we were in Egypt, right? Not talking about Babylon, it's talking about Egypt, right? It says also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and after shall they come out with great substance, and they shall go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. Right? So this is the information that the Lord shared with Abraham, right? Now we want to get into how the Lord played that out for Abraham's seed to end up in the land of Egypt. So now we want to do, let's jump to Genesis 37. And I'm going to read through this one quick, because I'm going to read the whole chapter, right? Well, the majority of the chapter. It says, this is Genesis chapter 37. It says, and Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with the brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, right? Abraham had a dream, now Joseph is having a dream. Both of these dreams are going to play out the will of the Heavenly Father. Stay tuned, right? And Joseph dreamed a dream and told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet more. And he said unto them, hear, I pray you, the dream which I have dreamed. And you know what I'm saying? Joseph is young. He just had a dream. He's just telling his brothers what happened. You know what I'm saying? It says, "For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf." Right? Let's look up this word obeisance real quick, so you can see why they were so offended at what he was saying. All right, obeisance, shachak, right? Obeisance, to bow down, to depress, to bow down, to prostrate oneself before superior in homage. Now, keep in mind, there's always order when it comes to Israel. You see, the firstborn son gets the inheritance, so on and so forth. So you understand Joseph being the youngest, why they're offended. Why are we gonna have to worship you and you the baby? You know what I'm saying? So that's why they were offended. They were like, why we gotta bow down to you? You know? And his brethren said to him, "Shalt thou indeed reign over us? Or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us?" And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. But, I mean, he was just telling them about a dream. You see? It says that he dreamed yet another dream and told his brethren and said, "Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me." Right? He's 11. He's one of the sons of Israel. Right? Sun and the moon represent wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You know, the 11 stars of heaven represent his brothers, the other tribes, when you break it down. Right? It says, "And he told it to his father and his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?" And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, "Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them." And he said to him, "Here am I." And he said to him, "Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with the brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again." So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, "What seekest thou?" And he said, "I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks." And the man said, They are departed hence. For I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. Now keep in mind, the Lord has already sealed this plan, right? The will of the Heavenly Father is for Abraham's seed to end up in Egypt, right? Where they're going to be afflicted for 400 years, right? But when the Lord sets up a plan, it has to play out through people on the earth, you see? And this is how our people ended up in Egypt. We just going step by step according to the scriptures, all right? It says, and they said one to another, "Behold, the dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit, and we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what shall become of his dreams." Right? So they planning to kill him, right? And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, "Let us not kill him." And Reuben said unto them, "Shed no blood, but cast him into a pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again." And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph out of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty, and there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, "What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood?" Right. So now Judah is being the voice of reason, and it'll play out later on, in the series, what made Judah the head tribe, because that was also the will of the Heavenly Father as well. It was Judah's actions, that the Lord had favor on him. Right. It says, come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content, right? So they all decided not to kill him. They were just going to sell him into slavery. Then there passed by the Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they brought Joseph into Egypt, right? So the Lord told Abram, before he changed his name to Abraham, he told Abram that your seed are going to end up in the land of Egypt. We going through the events that led up to that, right? It says, and Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes, and he returned unto his brethren and said, the child is not, and whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat and killed a kid of the goats and dipped it in the blood, dipped the coat in blood, right? Okay, so Salakia, I was saying the Ishmaelites pulled him up out of the pit and took him to Egypt. Salakia. It says, and they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, this have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he knew it, and said, it is my son's coat. And an evil beast had devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes and put on sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for him so many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, for I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. Right? And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard. Right? So they left him in the pit. He got scooped up by the Ishmaelites. So when his brothers got back to the pit, they had agreed to sell him, but when they got back to the pit, he was already gone. Right? So now, that's something that we needed. So now we're going to jump to Genesis 45 to get the reunion. Right? We're going to go to Genesis 45, and I'm probably read down to about 15. All right, Genesis 45. Right? It says, then Joseph. Now, when you read chapters 37 through 46, this is the whole story. I'm just condensing this because I'm on my break, of course. You know what I'm saying? But Genesis 45 and 1. It says, then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him, and he cried, cause every man to go out from me. And there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. So he cleared out the room. This is the reunion. This shows you that thy kingdom come, thy will be done. The Lord wanted Israel to be reunited as a nation. You see, all 12 tribes, all 12 brothers. It was prophesied that they were going to end up in Egypt. Right? It says, and he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence, right? Because they thought he was dead. They didn't know what had become of him. It says, and Joseph said unto his brethren, come near unto me, I pray you. And they came near him, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither. For God, Yahweh, Yahweh did send me before you to preserve life. You see? So when he was having those dreams and they was getting mad at him and they didn't like him because Jacob loved him more and all these different things, they had no idea what the Lord was working behind the scenes, man. You see? It says, now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourselves that ye sold me hither, for Yahweh did send me here before you to preserve life. You see? So he had to separate the brothers in order for them all to be able to come back together to fulfill that prophecy that he promised Abraham, or Abram at the time. Right? It says, for these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And Yahweh sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. You see, because a lot of people was going to die because of that famine. You see, so the Lord separated the sons of Israel just for this purpose, man. You see, because the Lord is always looking ahead. You see, we not subject. The Lord ain't subject to the time that we subject to. You see, so he set up a situation to where jealousy and envy and all these things separated the family just so that he could reunite them on down the line for his will to play out. You see, it says, and Yahweh sent me before you to preserve you a posterity in the earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but Yahweh. You see? So Joseph understood the will of the Heavenly Father. That's why he was able to forgive his brothers. You see? And he had made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye, and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, Yahweh hath made me lord over all of Egypt, and come down unto me, tarry not. And thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen, and thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks and thy herds, and all that thou hast. And there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty. And behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin that is in my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and of all that ye have seen, and ye shall haste to bring down my father hither. All right? And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren and wept upon them. And after that, his brethren talked with him. You see? It says, and the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. You see, so it was the Heavenly Father's will for our forefathers to unite in Egypt, so that promise that He made to Abram would come to pass. Right now, let's get 70 souls. Right, 70 souls. Right, this is Exodus chapter 1 verse 5. It says, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, and Joseph was in Egypt already. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna go back to Genesis 15. Right, and this was the promise that the Lord made to Abraham, that his seed was gonna end up in another land. Right. Start at verse 12. It says, Genesis 15 and 12. It says, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of a great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. And that land ended up being Egypt under Pharaoh. But Joseph was already there, because the Lord said that He was going to reunite all of Abram's seed in Egypt. The seed that's being dealt with, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12 tribes, right? The Lord promised him that they were going to end up in Egypt, and they were going to be afflicted 400 years, and the Lord set up a set of events that we just read through for that to play out. It says, and He said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Right? It says, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and after shall they come out with great substance. And then, Lord willing, we'll get Romans 9. We'll get Romans 9 as the next installment of thy kingdom come, thy will be done. You see, the Lord sets up the events. He utilizes His angels, and what He wants, He gets. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, no matter what. And this is just another example. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakahak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the Akim teacher about the mind, wild mouth, that's in sincerity and truth. Shalom.